Hello traders, welcome back to the Chart Whisperer, where we only trade when the market pays us to. In this video, I'll share my daily bias based off of the level count as well as the key trading zones for the day. If you always want to know where the market is headed, smash like, subscribe and join the free Telegram channel in the description. Let's see what the Dow Jones has for us today. Two levels of rise. I think you'll notice that I made a slight change. I am sitting firmly on this now being one level. And yesterday will be was my second level of rise. As you can see, there's a nice consolidation period going on that went on after the Asian session and is still continuing. So I'm expecting one more level of rise. However, as you know, after level 2, we are likely to see a bit of a pullback to the male, although it's quite far actually from where the previous level started. I'll still be monitoring that. So what this means is that I will be open to going either way today. If I get a very clear, now it has to be very clear and very obvious. If I get a nice information, a double leg information, I will actually take it short. It's a counter trade, so trade carefully if you're gonna take that kind of position, but I am open to taking a counter trend position just for today before we complete our uptrend. However, as you know, primary expectation, especially because the Mayo is so far from my prices, my primary expectation is to have a stop hunt low, rise and complete the cycle. I think the perfect point of interest will be last month's low or high, sorry. They kind of consolidated on it yesterday for an extended period, so it would be nice if they came back down, gave us a reversal structure here, and then we take it along. Swiftly along to NASDAQ again. I amended my levels. I am ready to go almost the same thing really. I'm open to shorting the position, shorting the NASDAQ here, just so they pin the Mayo again before we continue with the final level of rise. However, again, my primary expectation is that we're going to have a stop hunt low rise. Last week's low or high, sorry, I don't know why I keep saying that. Last week's high is the perfect point of interest as far as I'm concerned. If I can get a nice setup there, I'll be more than ready to take it along. And then, like I said, I'm open to a counter trend trade after two levels. So if they do anything at yesterday's high, I will have a sharp eye on there and I might even take it a short. Over to the pound, two levels of rise here. I'm quite confident in them completing their cycle. However, same thing again, after two levels, you must be flexible, and I'm open to them just coming down to the Mayo before completing the cycle. So we'll see how price develops there. However, I am actually ready to go long as well, based on especially how price opened today. There they go, shooting down. Hopefully they can do that all the way to last month's high, and then I will be waiting for them down there to take it long. The Euros quite similar to an extent. However, they've only had one level of rise as far as I'm concerned. I am looking at what's happening to my left as well, because anything is possible there, since they didn't really break past last week's high completely. So anything is possible, but I am looking to go long here, and my expected point of interest, you know, when you get, by the way, when you get straight red candles down there, you can almost have a little bit more confidence in that being a stop hunt. So it would be nice to see them give us a few more candles all the way down to yesterday's low. A nice W formation here would be ideal, of course, especially because, as you can see, I was actually waiting for them here yesterday and they just didn't hit the low. So let me just remove this because I won't be needing it. But they can very well come down to yesterday's low and give me a pin formation. And if they do, especially if it's two hits, like a W formation, then we'll have basically 4 hits to that low, and as you know, that will be lights out. So I'll just be monitoring there. AUD USD with the choppy behavior. It's never exciting. However, they did give me one level of rise from where they were, assuming this is a reset. And I don't like making assumptions, but I'll assume this is a reset for now, unless they prove otherwise. So I'm looking to go long there. Do I have any points of interest? The ADR is right there by last week's low, as well as yesterday's low. So I actually won't be getting involved there, but you can see with the level count, I expect one more level of rise. USDCAD. I'm looking to go short there. They gave me one level of drop. I'll be honest, I'm not completely sold on this being the third level of rise. So I'm really open to being corrected there by the market. We'll see how it goes. But this is definitely a complete level of drop. So that's why I'm saying it's still, the jury's still out, if anything. But for now, I'm still expecting to go short. As you can see, I wanted them to come hit last week's low yesterday, and I am still expecting the same thing. However, is also yesterday's high, as well as the psychological, the PSR. What is this? Is this resistance? It's quite interesting for me to think about support and resistance, because I really don't use those terms, and sometimes I forget what they mean. So I am expecting this to be a potential place for me to take a short from there. It would be kind of like a straightaway trade. As you can see, they kind of consolidated there, so I would be happy to take it short from there. Again, high probability setup only, and I'll take it for one or two levels depending. I should have made this one level of drop, but I think you get the idea. So we'll see how price develops there. Dollar Swiss franc, 1, 2, 3 levels. Already I'm ready to reverse this for a long position, which already makes me raise a few questions. I don't like it when it's not properly correlated with USDCAD, something of that sort, but we'll see how price develops, because one of them will be correct. So I'm just gonna pay attention to what I see. And also, this is where high probability setups actually really work in my favor, because even when the level is not completely clear, it's not like that I'll get a setup that'll send me the wrong way. So we'll see how that develops, but I want to go long here. If this is indeed the peak formation, and it's just the consolidation period for now, it doesn't really look like a good peak formation, but I'm not in the business of predicting the market. I react to what is relevant to me. So if this happens to be the low of the week, considering that it's Wednesday, midweek reversal, price, I mean, if this really ends up being the low of the week, it'll be exactly what we were taught in terms of false move week beginning, two levels down, and then reversing price for the midweek reversal. So I will be waiting to take a position there, provided it is absolutely screaming at me too. And then finally, S&P 500, again, just like Dow Jones, I made some amendments here. So as far as I'm concerned, this is 2 levels of rise. I'm expecting one more level of rise. However, just like the others, we could see a situation where after the second level, they come down to the Mayo before continuing the cycle. So I'll be open to going short here as well. But just like the others, my primary expectation is to go long. So I actually want a stop hunt low rise. It would be a very extensive stop hunt, to be honest, for them to come all the way down there. We'll see how that develops. It is possible. I don't see it happening so likely, and as far as I'm concerned, but it is still very much possible. And if they do that, I will be ready to take them long here, as long as it's a high probability setup. And that wraps up today's analysis. I hope you guys find some value. Again, make sure to join, to click the link in the description and join the Telegram channel, where I'll be giving my updates as and when I'm trading. And then also in that channel is where you'll find our discussion group, where everybody shares their own setups, their own experience during the day. A whole lot of us in there, different types of traders, but we're all BTMM traders at this point for the most part. I think if you find this valuable, you'll find even more value in there. Like I always preach, I only trade 8 instruments, and there are other people who trade other things like NZD, USD, JPY. Some even trade gold. So I think it'll be the perfect place to get some insights based on what you're trading. That's it for me. I hope you guys have a profitable trading day, and I will see you in the next one.